Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is your tropical update for June 13th. We are still watching those same three systems that we've been talking about. Invest 92E in two areas of interest, one in the Pacific and one in the Caribbean Sea. So let's get into it. First, with Invest 92E, this is going to be our last update on the storm because now it's moved outside of our 100-degree west demarcation line, so all of the risk is outside of potentially affecting the Atlantic, and so yeah, that's kind of it. But the National Hurricane Center gives it 90% chance formation, probably going to form, might even become a hurricane, but as it stands now, no threat to land, and not a concern of us in the Atlantic. So let's move on to what will affect the Atlantic. We have an area of interest located at about 90 degrees west south of El Salvador. I'll move my cursor on screen. Right here is where we're looking. South of Central America. That's our area of interest. National Hurricane Center now with a 30% chance formation within the next 5 days. We'll monitor that as it moves up the coast, potentially into the coast. It kind of depends, and I'll show a few different model solutions on what happens with this storm here. So, yeah, let's take a look at that. But first, we need to talk about a system that's going to interact with this system in a very special way. And that's the area of interest here in the Atlantic. I didn't change the date here, but I did also apparently not change the satellite image. But it's the same satellite image as back here. So the area of interest is currently located here north of Colombia. And a lot of convection here from Panama all the way up to Nicaragua and Honduras, all the way over to Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula today. But the rotation center is over here, a little bit of convection with it right now, and that should consolidate over the next few days. National Hurricane Center now at a 10% chance formation within 48 hours, 40% chance within the next 5 days. And it kind of depends on what happens with this storm. If it's stronger, it's going to follow this path set out by the Hurricane Center, kind of, sort of. It's going to move over as it remains weak. Then it'll get a little strong, move up north, move around Nicaragua and Honduras, which we expect heavy rainfall for them, and then towards the Yucatan Peninsula and Belize by the time we get to 5 days from now. So that's if it gets stronger, and that's what the Hurricane Center is outlining here. If it doesn't, if it stays weak, it'll just move straight this way into Panama, Costa Rica, and southern Nicaragua. And that's kind of what we can expect if it does that. So let's first talk about what happens if this storm is stronger. If the storm is stronger, we follow the GFS model. The storm's located here by Wednesday morning. The other system is located south of Guatemala. Over here is 92E, which we aren't going to talk about. By Thursday morning, the storm, again, gaining in strength, likely a tropical storm, moving northward along the Nicaraguan coast, and then another tropical storm associated with that other area, maybe a tropical depression south of Guatemala. That's kind of what we expect by Thursday. By Friday, that tropical depression or storm moves backwards because of the influence from this tropical storm on the other side of Central America in the Caribbean Sea, north of Honduras now. And since, remember, this storm's rotating counterclockwise, so its winds are pushing like north over or southward over Belize in kind of like in that motion, in the motion of my cursor there. So it's actually pushing this storm with it. If you expand how big it is, it's pushing this storm backwards into Nicaragua and Costa Rica. As it moves northward. And so we see that by Friday, and by Saturday, that's very clear as the storms move, that depression had moved inward towards Honduras, probably even lost its tropical characteristics as the tropical storm, potentially even a hurricane now, gains in strength, making its way towards Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula by Saturday morning. Again, that's 5 days from now. So that's what the GFS shows. The GFS has a hurricane by Saturday morning making landfall in Belize and the Yucatan. That's not the case on the European model. The European has a much weaker system to start out with. Remember, if we look here, this is Wednesday morning on the European model, And this is Wednesday morning on the GFS model. We see much heavier convection in a slightly more organized center on the GFS. So European weaker both here and in the Pacific. That allows the Pacific storm to actually move to the northwest towards Mexico, impacting the southern Mexican coast, as this one hardly develops, potentially becoming a brief tropical depression, making landfall near Costa Rica. And then that's it. It's Friday morning, and there's nothing left to talk about on the European model. So a wide range of solutions still possible at a very short lead time, and that's kind of concerning in terms of impacts. The good news is nothing too crazy within the next couple days, and hopefully within those next couple days, we can find out what's going to happen in 5 days to a week from now with regard to land impact along Central America, Mexico, and more. So that's all I have for now. I'm sorry for the long update. Remember, this is the last update on Invest 92E, as now it's out of our picture. That's all for now. Chris 6 and Weather, Catholic Media.